So a moment ago, we were on another call with
Yep.
Kyla and Jess, and they were teasing each other a bit about some of their answers to some of the questions. And I was wondering a little bit about the camaraderie on set, and was there anything maybe funny that occurred this season when you guys were shooting, where you guys ended up ribbing each other or having some inside jokes or things like that? Because the chemistry between you guys is pretty apparent.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I'm more of the kind of intense kind of guy who, you know, needs his coffee in the morning and doesn't sleep very well and can be they call me Grumpy Joe on the set, basically, right? So Kiowa is this brings this heartedness to the set, and he's always got his boombox going and bringing live, music blasting, and so he brings this levity that helps me out quite a bit. He's such a good guy. He really is. He's got a good heart, and Jessica is more like me. She can get a little not grumpy on set, but the dynamics work basically between all three of us. Those two are joking around quite a bit, and they always make me laugh. So I enjoy being around both of them, and I'm glad that we landed on Kiowa and Jess for the characters on Dark Winds for sure. It's
Thank
enjoyable
you so
going
much.
to work.
Congratulations. Just probably the best season yet.
Thanks,
Um,
good.
Joe says at the beginning of the season, I'm my wife has left me and
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Hmm.
What does that say about Joe at this point in his life? And is it important that the series remain set in 1970, that it wasn't when they said, let's do these Tony Hillerman books, let's not take them to contemporary times, let's keep them where they were written for?
Yeah, I think keeping him in the 70s is important. The majority of Tony's books were written in the 70s and the 80s, but I don't I don't know if Joe could it would change the whole dynamic of the series if we didn't follow it within a couple year period, 71, maybe seven. We're still in 1971. We're on the fourth season. So carrying it into another decade would age Joe 10 years, and I don't know. I don't know how realistic that would be. So I think containing it within a short time period is a smart thing to do for a television show. As far as I don't know why my wife left me. The thing is the subtext of that is Joe is still trying to figure out, or if he was right or wrong in his actions. I think Joe is always struggling with that. Is he was his decisions in the past regarding last season with BJ Vines of letting this man out in the desert basically freeze to death and not stick a gun to his head and murder him. He just left him out there to survive on his own. So did Joe actually murder BJ Vines? I think Joe is constantly questioning that in his head. And why does Emma not understand what he did? Because he found out that basically he was behind the killing of his son. So Joe was always questioning if what his actions. So I don't think he understands completely why Emma has left him. But in this season, Joe does seek Hojo is what the Navajo people call it. Hojo is a seeking a balance or a peace of mind or a certain connection. I think as human beings, we're always, as individuals searching for that balance, that Hojo. So Joe is definitely seeking that, and he goes to his cultural ceremonies to find that. And but I don't think Joe completely understands why Emma's kind of left him. Doesn't understand that decision, or he's not willing to admit to himself. You know what I mean? Why or admit that his complete fault, that it's his fault that Emma's left. he's always struggling with that, and I think that's kind of one of the complexities of Joe Leaporn is that the inner struggle.
I was here at the first one, the season one of these kind of things.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see you back. But what's it like? What's it been like for you to watch this thing go? Because when you start a show, you hope for the best, and you had great source material, but you'd never know. And
Yeah.
now we find out that you're up for another season coming up after this fourth season. So, what's this journey been like for you to see as a producer, as the star of the show, one of the stars of the show?
I never imagined being on well, I imagined it, but I didn't think I'd ever have the opportunity being pretty specific in, the characters that I can actually play as an actor. Um, being part native and not getting pigeonholed in that stuff and not having representation in the TV industry as far as TV shows and movies and stuff. There's just not been a lot. So to be on a show for going into a fifth season is a dream come true. I feel very, very fortunate, as an actor, not just being a native actor, just as an actor to be employed for 5 seasons on a show because especially in the climate of this business now, it's shows are going for 1 or 2 seasons and they're getting canceled. So I feel very fortunate. And I even feel more fortunate about the people that I get to work with, the team that we've put together and the camaraderie that we have, the family that we've established, not just within the producers and the actors, but the crew as well. We've got great crew down in New Mexico, and we've all become a family and look forward to doing a fifth season for sure. Just feel very fortunate. I don't. It's the only way I can put it. Just very fortunate.
So you're obviously very involved with the show, not just as an actor, but director, executive producer. What do you think it is that has made Dark Winds stand out the way it does? And how do you feel about the evolution of Joe Leaporn's character?
Well, I think I think the reason the show stands out and why people are connecting with it is, um, I mean, we're exploring universals, the family and relationships and community and love, and these are all, human universals, and they're certainly explored in most TV shows. But I think we're doing it through a unique kind of cultural lean, which has never really been done, especially on a television show that's gone, 5 going into a fifth season. We had Reservation Dogs and we had Rutherford Falls, which was, but in the last, few decades, have we ever had a native television show? We just haven't. The representation for natives in TV hasn't been there, and we're definitely in a unique era right now that we have a show that's going into a fifth season that's all native cast, all native directors this season. Every single one of us is native, and then we have half the writing room is native. We have crew that is native, so it's and that's personally that for me on a personal level that's really exciting to be a part of something like that. But as far as like the audiences and stuff, they just have never seen they just never seen this cultural lean before. I think and people are just connecting with it, and I think that's amazing. And we have John Worth and some good writers that are putting the show together. And John has been around for decades, and we kind of lean on John, and he knows how to connect with his writing to a certain demographic in the Midwest, and people are connecting with it, old and young. And I'm grateful to be on a show that's doing that.
So talk about Joe's the sort of cat and mouse relationship he has with Irene, because obviously that's a very big part of the season, and yeah, she's crazy, but I love it. So talk about that.
Yeah, it's Irene Vaughan is definitely a formidable antagonist for Joe. It's a big cat and mouse chase, and she seems to be have this weird obsession with Joe Leaporn, and she's a German kind of Nazi hit person who works for the Titus Welliver character, and um, she has this strange obsession with Joe, and ends up capturing Joe, and Isabel DeRoy, who plays our young Navajo character on the show, puts him in a kind of a dungeon and kind of plays house with them in a way. Um, and so the Franca Potente was she's an amazing actress. She just brings so much to the character, and her ideas are unbelievable. She comes ready, prepared at set on set, and just I learned so much from her just watching her with um, her ideas of what she wanted to do and how many ideas she had for the character. Some actors just kind of come on and they just want to do the dialogue and don't bring a lot, but she had so many ideas, and she wanted to try different things. So I learned a lot as an actor working with Franca. And I was such a big fan of hers, growing up, and not growing up, we're around the same age actually, but Run Lola Run, I had a huge crush on Franca. So when I learned that she was going to come in and play this character, I was absolutely thrilled.
Don, you are so good in this series, and congratulations
Oh,
on
thank you.
pre-earning another season before we've even seen this season.
Thanks.
This is a darker Joe. Started a little bit darker last season. He's even in a darker place now.
Yeah.
How do you shake off being this character when he's in those more difficult emotional states?
I don't know if it's Franca, we were in an interview before, and she talked about pragmatism, and I love what I do. I enjoy delving into Joe Leaporn and being on a film set, TV set. I just enjoy what I do. So it's not something I really have to shake off at the end of the day. I don't feel, I obviously last season we got into some pretty dark, traumatic things that happened to Joe, the character Joe, and I was able to relate to a lot of that stuff because of my past, um, and bringing that to to the surface isn't really difficult for me because I've been through so much therapy and counseling through my life. It's not difficult for me to bring that up. I don't. It's not something I have to shut off. I don't shut the door on any of that stuff. So as an actor to bring that stuff alive, it's not easy for me, but it's just not something that I have to shake off. It's more the issue I have is the focus that I have to put into um, producing, to being casting, to being in the production meetings, to being memorizing 8 scripts and being in almost every scene, to directing and doing pre-production shot lists, etc. That focus that it takes for 5 months of being on a TV show is what I have a difficult time shedding. Because when it's done, and I have no other focus. There's except I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I'm not married. I don't have a big family life. I have brothers, and my mother's still alive. So that's what I do is I go see them and try to put that focus on people I love, if that makes sense. Or I get on my motorcycle, but it's the focus thing that I have a hard time shedding because it just stops after, you're done with that last episode, it stops. I don't have a regular job. You know what I mean? So it's being able to relax after that focus, trying to learn how to relax, I guess. Until
I
the
think
next
you
season
just made your
starts.
dating profile at the end of
So my question is, the show presents strength in different ways, whether it's emotional, physical, or cultural. How would you describe your character's strength?
Joe Leaporn, his strength, being able to walk that fine line between his job and his culture. Um, I think his culture and relying, especially in this season coming up, or the season 4, relying on his traditional ways to get back to that Hojo that I was talking about earlier. that balance. Because we as human beings are always struggling with that. I struggle with that, and to this day, trying to find that balance as Zahn. And so I think his strength is not giving up on that and not giving up on trying to find that. Some people give up. Some people end up in addiction, etc. And Joe keeps that strength because he knows he has to be there for his culture and his people. He has to be there for Emma as well, but be there for himself. And he has to be there for his coworkers. So that's Joe's strength, not giving up on himself.